Hi, everybody. It's Ken Iverson from Kent, Washington, USA, recording on the 18th day of January 2013. I have not recorded since it's been a little over 2 years since my last video on YouTube. I'm back now, and I am intending to record in the near future at least two videos, one on obesity and the other on the death penalty. I plan to record more as time goes along. So if you enjoyed my other videos, you might enjoy this. So who knows? You decide for yourself. Uh, I uh, I am living in a new place now, about a mile from where I used to live in Kent, and you can see the background is different in this video than it was in the other ones that I recorded a little over 2 years ago. So anyway, I'm in Kent, Washington, USA, south of Seattle, Washington, in the great Pacific Northwest of America, in the lower 48. Let me get on with uh, obesity. I am intending to assess some of the reasons that we overeat, why Americans are so obese. And my intention is to relieve some of the guilt that particularly women feel in our society about being overweight, excuse me, about being overweight. So let me get on with it. Uh, I think that there's too much guilt and shame associated with obesity, with being fat, being overweight, being pleasingly plump, being full-figured, whatever. There's a great deal of shame and guilt associated with that. And my intention in this brief video is to give reasons that we are overweight, and reasons that don't have to do with willpower or our own personal defects or our own inability to control our eating. This is something that I intended to relieve guilt and shame. So let me say, the first thing that I think is a reason that we're fat. One of the reasons, anyway, is what's called what the flavorists do. This was highlighted on 60 Minutes a couple of months ago, and the flavorists develop flavors that you can't resist. And for example, you can't eat just one potato chip. You have to have the whole, well, not the whole bag. Well, a lot of people will eat the whole bag. I've done that before. As you can see, I'm overweight. I'm probably 70 or 80 pounds overweight. You know, I quit a long time ago being concerned about that. It's a losing battle for me. And some of the reasons that I'm about to cite here will apply to me. So the flavorists develop flavors where there's a burst of flavor when you eat, say, whatever, it's a soda pop or Diet Coke or Diet Pepsi. Where I live now, there's a machine, a soda vending machine, and it's sweetened with saccharin, and it's Shasta brand, and there's no calories in it. Well, by the way, parenthetically, we're probably the only country in the world that will pay good money for foods that have no calories. Diet foods, everything from diet sodas to what diet eclairs, diet ice cream, dietetic ice cream, and so on. And we are, we're in a position to do that. I guess most people in most parts of the world want to have calories, more calories, because a lot of people go hungry every night when they go to bed. And I'm thinking that we are probably the only country who indulges in paying for things that don't have any calories. And anyway, the flavorists develop these flavors. And the idea being there's a burst of flavor when you drink it. These Shasta diet sodas. I like orange and I like grape. And I've gotten addicted. I don't know, Shasta would probably disagree with that, or Coke or Pepsi would probably disagree, say you're not addicted to it. But that burst of flavor is something that I want to repeat. And I recognize this in myself, and I have to resist it. And I don't resist it. I'll be quite honest with you. I don't resist it. I indulge. It tastes good, and so I drink the soda, orange, grape, and so on. Let's see. The second thing that I think is one of the reasons that we're overweight. Let me say that this is probably the most medicated society in the world, probably in the history of the world, 21st century America. We take drugs for everything, and I'm not immune from that. I take a certain amount of drugs, prescription drugs. I'm not talking about street drugs. I'm talking about prescription drugs. And these have a tendency, some of them have a tendency to have as a side effect weight gain. And you can figure out which these medications are by Googling the medication or taking the printout from the pharmacy when you get your medication filled, or the insert when it comes to the medications from the manufacturer. But let me say, there are two kinds of medications that I am familiar with, and both of them result in or can lead to weight gain. One of them are the antipsychotic medications. There's, let's see, what would they be? The Risperdal, Zyprexa, and some of the other antipsychotics. They tend to have the side effect of gaining of weight. And another one is another group of medications are the antidepressants, the so-called SSRI, selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, and they include let's see, Prozac, Paxil, Celexa, Zoloft, Lexapro, and those are some of the medications that result in weight gain or can result in weight gain. And I've had it explained to me why these medications will have as a side effect of gaining of weight, and it has to do with the fact that I don't understand the entire mechanism, but it has to do with the fact that our cells in our bodies are being starved when we eat because the insulin doesn't interact properly with the food to get the nutrients into the cells. So we may be full and we may be putting on weight, but we may feel hungry all the time because our cells feel that our cells are starving. So that's two things: the flavor bursts that we have that encourage you to not just eat one or bet you can't eat just one, and the other is the medication, and finally another reason that we put on weight is the use of sugar, fat, and salt. When you think about it, those are key key flavors. I I tell this story often, but a couple of years ago I had a coupon from Jimmy Dean's. I believe it was breakfast on a stick, and it was the breakfast on a stick was a sausage on a stick that had been wrapped in batter and deep fat fried. And it had a lot of salt and fat and probably sugar. But I didn't look at I don't remember the ingredients now. This was sometime back. I had a coupon and I had a few cents off, so I bought this. And that morning I had watched Matt Lauer on the Today Show talk about food engineers who get paid to make things like this so that the flavor is irresistible, that you can't eat just one. And I ended up in 2 days eating 4 of these sausages on a stick. I'm talking about shame. No, I'm not ashamed. They were good. But I knew better and I succumbed to this anyway. So that if anything I've said makes sense to you, if you're on medications, if you're eating a lot of sugar, fat, and salt, like for example chips, Doritos is a favorite of a lot of people. A lot of people eat Doritos like they're going out of style, and that's it's not a conspiracy, I would say, but it's designed that the flavor is designed so that you really like it and you want to eat more and more. And of course, this is in the best interest of the snack industry, because the more that you eat, the more that they sell, and the more that the more obese we get, the more money they make. And there are two industries in the United States that are at odds with one another. One of them is the food industry, the processed food industries in supermarkets and that, and the other is the diet industry. So one of us is leading to putting on weight, and the other is taking off weight. And let me say this: I think that anybody who's listening to this, I'm not going to tell you how to lose weight because obviously I am fat, and I'm not going to tell you how to do that, but lighten up on yourself, I would say, if you can, because it's not your fault. It's not a lack of willpower. It's not a lack of character. If you're overweight, if you're obese, then there are reasons for this, and they're not totally in your control. For example, the medications. It's very, very hard not to overeat when your medications are tending to put on weight. So anyway, this is Ken Iverson recording from Kent, Washington, USA. Take care, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.